justice and peace and equality.
Let's do it. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. And we're back with Miss Tamakio Patterson, owner and operator of Jewel ABA Therapy. How you doing today, Miss Patterson?
I'm alive and well.
You a busy lady, man. You've been on that road.
Busy is that's not even the word for it.
Man. Just want to give you a shout out for working with children who deal with ABA. Now, tell me, what is ABA and what made you get into working with kids with ABA?
Well, ABA therapy is applied behavioral analysis. So what that is we pretty much get children that's on the autism spectrum prepared to live in a typical world setting. So we give them the tools they need to be able to go to school and to be able to function as their peers. So I service children 2 to 18 because a lot of ABA centers don't. They'll stop maybe 6 years old, 8 years old, and I feel that doesn't do them any justice because autism doesn't stop.
I definitely understand that. Now, you chose to. Now, how long have you been a business owner? Because I know recently, before we started the interview, you talked about how you were in Clayton and Jonesboro, and then you moved to Stockbridge. What made you move from Clayton and Jonesboro to Stockbridge and come to the hub? Because we know Stockbridge is where community connects and businesses thrive. So what made you come down to the
actually, I've been in business for it'll be 2 years in September. And I've always been in Stockbridge. So I wanted to come into Stockbridge. Well, I was a manager of an ABA center in Tucson. And when I did my research, and I want to actually go into the field of ownership, I did my research of the areas that I felt that would be more beneficiary with ABA services. In the South Side, to me, I felt would be more beneficial on my end. And I wanted to be able to help my people to get out that stigma of anything mental health. Because, we do have a big stigma of anything mental health in our community.
We definitely do.
And I wanted to be the person to put myself out there and let them know, like, hey, it's okay to be okay. It's okay to ask for help. There are resources out there for you. So I put myself on the limb to kind of help a lot of families and a lot of parents. So that's what sets me apart from a lot of other ABA centers. I'm not one of those commercialized businesses. I am a realist. And I'm a human like everybody else, and I actually put myself in other people's shoes and say to myself, like, what if it was me? What if it was my child? What would I do? What kind of resources would I want? How would I want people to support me and help me? And I use that and utilize those things towards other families. So I don't just help my kids. And, in my center, I help the people that support them and take care of them. And I help any other person who needs help outside of that.
Man, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal because when we look at it, man, dealing with kids with autism, dealing with kids who suffer from ABA, I mean, you gotta have a unique spirit to even get into that field. Shout out to all the employers and workers who are working with adults living with IDD, kids living with ABA. These are some of the new terms and some of the mental health terms. Now, you're from Detroit, right?
I'm from Detroit.
What up, though? What up, though? Yeah. D-Town in the house, man. So Detroit was one of the prominent communities in America, African Americans thriving. How did you connect Detroit mental health? And we know the downfall of how, Detroit went through the Black Renaissance of, losing Ford plants and all that stuff. And a lot of mental health things happen. How did that inspire you to bring that in, bring it down to Georgia, good old Atlanta?
Actually, autism wasn't on was not even a plan. For me. Autism wasn't a plan for me. Even living in Detroit. So I was born in Alabama. I was raised in Detroit. So, but growing up, we didn't see those diagnoses of autism. Growing up, if you had a child that was had a speech delay or was delayed in general, we were taught to push it out the way and keep moving. There ain't nothing wrong with that child. There ain't nothing wrong with you. To keep pushing. So I never saw any of that.
Right.
I was in pain management when I was in Detroit. And I worked in Detroit for 14 years. Okay. Because my passion is helping people. So I had a plan all along. My life plan was to get my foot in the door. Okay. To where I didn't have to work for nobody else. Okay. And that's exactly what I did. So I started off in pain management just as a medical assistant. Okay. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I continued the medical assistant journey. But I was not only just doing medical assistant. Because of my work ethic, I was doing a whole lot of other things. I was doing epidurals. I was doing all kinds of... I was doing the marketing for the providers. I was doing everything. Okay. Because in my mind... There's nothing I can't do, right?
Yeah, hey, that's what entrepreneurs. Hey,
in my mind, there's nothing I can do, so I put myself out there and I started doing all this other stuff outside of just being clinical. Okay. And then I'm like, I done mastered that. I mastered that. Okay. I need to do something else. Let me go into another field. Right. So I went into HIV and AIDS here in Atlanta. Man. And I was just a patient registrar. However, I was also the person who worked the flow of the clinic. Wow. Because I'm an empath. I didn't know a whole lot about HIV and AIDS prior to me going in. I was ignorant about it like a whole lot of other people. Man. However, I learned so much. Yes. About the how it's contracted. The patients, they were. You become very, very passionate when you come into a field like that. Oh, trust me. You have to have a certain kind of mindset because it does get emotional. Yes. When you hear the stories about how the patients contracted and what they're going through, and then the young people. Wow. The young people, so many young people, the ages 18 to 26 who were diagnosed, or who contracted HIV and AIDS, but they have, they're in denial and they don't want to let people know, so they're hiding it from their families, and you gradually just seeing them deteriorate away because they don't want to show these people. So I just started out as a patient registrar, but I also talked to a lot of my patients coming in, especially the young people, to let them know, like, hey, this is not stopping you from living a normal life. You can live a normal life as long as you take your medication. Absolutely. Take your medication and take them consistently. Keep your appointments going, and you'll everything everybody else is doing, you'll be able to do. So I put myself out to do that. I'm good at talking to people. I already trying to make them feel, cause we already live in a world. Yes. Where everybody is pretty much placed inside a bubble. We're controlled. And we have to get out of that mindset. Like we're in control of our own lives and our own destinies. And we have to start actually thinking that way. Absolutely. And so working in HIV, even though it's a difficult specialty to work in, it came easy to me. I think to be able to talk to especially the younger, the younger kids. It was the younger ones that I really wanted to talk to them the most. A lot of the older ones, they might have had it for some years. Started in the 80s. Yes, where the epidemic had really took a toll on a lot of people. It definitely took a toll. When they're taking 1,000 pills, but the younger people, we're living in today's age where, social media runs our lives and all these other things run our lives. They don't want to sit in and acknowledge, like, this is my life right now.
And with all the information, and we're in the age of information, it's a lot. I know even it's a lot of stereotypes based around illnesses like HIV and AIDS, mental health, autism, those type of things. And some people who are born with HIV, of course, and it's some people who are born like natural autism or whatever. Now, and I think when people put the autism thing together, it's so many stereotypes to that, and I just want to kind of be clear. I want to make that message clear. You know what I mean? How is autism contracted? Is it something that the parents are doing? Is it a misimbalance of the parent, or is it just a condition that just is a condition. Tell me how autism happens from a child being born.
Let me just say this.
Okay.
And because scientifically, there isn't really anything to say exactly how a person is diagnosed with autism or AD. You know what I'm saying? There's no scientific factors.
Wow.
However, my opinion is everybody is autistic. We're just all on different levels of the spectrum. And what made me start thinking about that when I did get into autism, I actually took the 40-hour course to also become our RBT, a registered behavioral technician, just to get a more insight of what ABA is and how it helps the children and things of that nature. And as I'm doing, some of the chapters online, I'll start thinking, based off the information that was given to me. I'm like, dang, I do that. I stem. I rock back and forth. Sometimes I shake my leg and I don't know why I'm shaking. I just do it. And I'm like, that right there put it in my head, like, we are all autistic.
We all
do something. We all do something receptive and unknowingly.
Correct.
We just wasn't diagnosed with it.
Man.
But they always have to put a diagnosis on every single thing. Me personally, with autism, I do not look at autism as a disability.
Okay.
A lot of people look at autism as a disability. I don't like that term at all.
Okay.
The kids that I have, I tell my parents, I tell my staff, I tell anybody who come, face to face with me and talking about autism. Okay. Autism is, people with autism are not disabled, they're differently able. So they just need tools they need to live a typical life setting. Right. And it takes us to get them there.
Man, you better say it, man. We got to take a commercial break. I got to recognize some of our sponsors. Want to give a shout out to South Atlanta Family Law Firm. You guys, family is a choice. Attorney Janice Alfred and her phenomenal staff over there out for Eagles Landing Country Club, serving families who are going through divorce, child legitimization, child custody, and TPO. Also, we want to give a shout out to Miller, North, and Brill Law Firm over there handling criminal cases, helping people. The best defense, helping people with criminal cases and strong criminal cases. And last but not least, we want to give a shout out to a New Well Adult Daycare Center over off Rock Quarry Road. Ms. Rhonda Crockett and her phenomenal staff serving adults dealing with IDD. And let me not forget Miles Select Vodka, Mr. and Mrs. Reggie and Pam Miles over there with the Miles Selects Vodka, a Red Oak distribution. You guys stay tuned. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village Podcast, with Change Starts Conversation.
And equality.